beach where I go every summer is just gotten covered in oil.
It's an outrage. This is a debacle.
I think it's kind of ridiculous.
I couldn't sit back and do nothing.
We are here today because the Coffee Party, along with Hands Across the Sand, we want to say no to offshore drilling and yes to clean energy.
There's like 700 and some events globally. Here we are in Atlanta on a busy sidewalk, and people in Atlanta go to the beach too. We all the oceans and everything are part of our everyday life, our food, everything.
There's enough Americans, hopefully, enough Americans that are fed up with big business and big oil destroying the planet, because that's what they've done.
I'm here because I want to support clean energy. I think we need to find out all the resources we can, and I'm angry about the spill.
We're here because we're just outraged about what's happening in the Gulf.
We just actually came back from the beach in Florida, and right 2 days after we left, we heard it got covered. Oil started washing up on the shores, and I don't know what that's going to do for the beach that I've gone to my entire life every summer.
It's still not cleaned up, and the fish are dying, and it's, inundating the coastline and all this stuff.
It breaks my heart every day that it hasn't gotten stopped and hasn't gotten cleaned up.
I don't see the Gulf of Mexico coming back, certainly in my lifetime, probably not in my daughter's lifetime, or any grandchildren's lifetime.
I'm a child of the 70s, so I remember those oil spills back then. I remember the despondency that I had in thinking that my children wouldn't have the beaches that I grew up with to enjoy. And now my children are getting older and I have grandchildren. I do not want this legacy left to my grandchildren and future generations.
Well, basically I wanted to make it like all the baby sea turtles were saying, to keep the oceans clean, because without them there won't be any older sea turtles.
This is Summer, and she's turning 6 on July 2nd, and for most every birthday we've traveled to the Gulf, to Destin, Florida, to be at the beach and enjoy the beach and the 4th of July fireworks show for her birthday, but we won't be doing that this year. We've had to make alternate plans, and we're disappointed.
Clean up our beaches, please, BP.
It's not just BP. BP is not the problem. Boycotting them is going to only hurt the people who work there, I think. This could have happened to anybody, not just BP.
We've got to start realizing that with the Deepwater Horizon that there are problems, and not just with BP, who are the villains of the day, but all the oil companies.
Not only do they buy the politicians with donations to their campaigns, the politicians are inundated on a daily basis in Washington, in their offices, with lobbyists. For God's sakes, whoever thought that legalized bribery was a good idea?
If we can prevent more spills from occurring, if we can switch, a lot of our resources over to cleaner energy, we can do a lot.
The 3,600 production wells in the Gulf of Mexico, 32 of which are drilling at this moment, which all have the same capacity for failure that the Deepwater Horizon had.
Oil is just such the way that people think. It's ingrained in our culture ever since, the invention of cars, and there hasn't been any real push until recently to kind of, consider other options.
By coming out here and continuing to speak up against things such as offshore drilling and the problematic platforms and the regulations that were written to allow the oil industry to basically do what they want. If this is what it takes to bring awareness and to stop it going, this is what I myself personally start to champion.
Clean energy now. We want to show our support for people who are trying to promote clean energy.
I'm here to show my support of practices that are more sustainable, energy efficient practices that reduce or completely eliminate our dependence on fossil fuels.
Support finding new energy and cleaner energy.
And I think we need to adopt clean energy and get rid of the oil.
Fueling our society using petroleum. Well, what a wasteful thing.
I want to see us completely kick our dependence on fossil fuels because I definitely think it's possible, and move towards more renewable and sustainable energy sources because we already have the technology to do so today.
It's more easily accessible than people think it is.
Solar, wind, why don't we put turbines out in the ocean instead of oil rigs? I mean, that would be brilliant.
I think that is very cool that they're trying to do that.
I hope that a lot of people change the way they use oil and start using much less, and change their living habits so that the offshore drilling won't even be an option because we won't need to, because we won't need that oil.
You cut your dependency on it and you speak up and say, enough's enough.
I'd like to see more people, government funding, organizations, nonprofits coming together to educate people on the impacts of climate change and how they can be proponents of reversing it.
I am here because we're a part of an organization called ACE, the Alliance for Climate Education, and we go throughout the city of Atlanta and surrounding areas spreading the message of climate change and what we can all do to help save our planet.
And we educate high school students on the impacts of climate change and what they can do to reverse global warming.
I'm actually going to be in the Sustainability Living Learning community at Chapel Hill. So I'm going to be doing a lot of this kind of stuff there, a lot of advocating for the earth.
I was in the environmental club all through high school and was big into, we bought solar panels for our high school. We did a lot of kind of clean energy stuff, and just through the products I did in high school, I realized kind of what a difference it can make.
It all starts with each of us as individuals. It doesn't all start with Washington. I mean, certainly some of it does, but let Barack Obama be an example of how we can all live better lives where we're not so dependent on the fossil fuels.
And I think it's definitely their job to regulate. That's what I would say.
Come up with policies to get us off of oil and coal and all the nasty fossil fuels that are killing this planet.
I think the public outcry over this event, is going to demand clean initiatives from our government.
Until the American people stand up, get out from in front of Real Housewives of New Jersey and I've Got Talent, put that crap down, stand up, write letters, talk to your politicians. The American people don't do that. So who I'm talking to right now is not government, is the American people. Get off of your apathetic, dead asses, sorry, and do something.
We're done. We want a clean initiative. We want you to change things because we don't want to see this happen anymore.
This could happen again and again, and it's not a risk I would like to take.
We've got to do something. We've got to wake up. We've got to stand up, and we've got to do it now.
Please stop drilling for oil.